Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he will direct your paths. I had a hard time with that in 2024. I struggled with that, with keeping my hands off of what only God can do. I had a hard time trusting the process. You know, we're all subject to take on a storm in our lives, and 2024 was a big storm for me. And I thank God that I made it through. But it was hard. It was hard. I had to dust myself off plenty of times. I had to learn to know who God really was in 2024. Well, I lost my job. I lost my mom. It was a rough year for me. And I had a hard time taking my hands off of only what God can do. 2025 comes, and walk by faith and not by sight. I had a hard time with that this year, I can honestly say. Because even though I endured 2024, I developed a lot more strength. I developed a lot more knowledge. I went through some things, I learned, and I grew from them. But at the same time, I had a hard time trusting the process. And I think that's what it's all about, is trusting the process. When you're not where you want to be, and you question, are you doing something wrong? Are you not dotting all your I's, crossing all your T's? What's going on, you know? And that's why I found myself in 2025. Walk by faith and not by sight. That's trusting in God completely. That's seeing the inevitable, the invisible. You know, it's hard. It's hard. And I'm sure a lot of you are going through something similar. In 2026, I want to trust in the Lord with all my heart. I want to walk by faith and not by sight. I want to trust the process, because I know I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And I really feel like I have so much more to offer. And I believe this is proof, that, I have some things to say, some testimonies to give. A friend of mine that I have kept in touch with since we were locked up together. I reached out to him just to see how he was doing, and just to let him know, hey, I see you. I see you. You're one of the ones that didn't look back. You're one of the ones that kept going. You're one of the ones that kept your foot on the gas, and I see you doing it. And he's younger than me. And he had reached back out to me, and he was like, you know what? It's funny because I just talked to you. I just talked about you to my wife and my somebody else, he was saying, a coworker, I believe. And how when we were locked up, we played chess. He didn't really know how to play the game, but I kind of taught him, how to play. And we had some good conversations, some iron sharpening iron conversations. And he let me know, how much that meant to him. And that was incredible to hear, not just for me, but for the work that I feel like I want to do, And because it was done for me, there were so many people who to this day, feed my soul. And I think that's what we need to do for each other more. We need to do more of that in this year, in 2026. No matter what somebody is going through, cut the judgments out. Cut out all the negative vibes. Get rid of the petty arguments and quarrels that you're going through. Set that aside. We need to help each other, especially as Black men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we're facing different things in our lives. I'm going this direction, you're going this direction, but you know what? We're Black men. We know what each other need. We know what we're going through. Iron sharpens iron. And the same with the, you ladies out there, there's a lot of, brokenness in both men and women, and we can help each other. We can help each other. Instead of just getting to a standard where you feel like you're comfortable, where you feel like you made it, and looking down on people. No, man, reach a hand out and pull that person up with you. Especially if you know that they're, needing that helping hand. And I think that's what I want to do going into 2026, and I'm just praying that God blesses me with the tools, that he blesses me with the knowledge, and surround me with the people that needs it, that need that helping hand. I'm nowhere close to where I want to be, so I know I'm hoping that somebody reaches out a hand for me and pulls me up. That's my little dog back there. But I'm really hoping that, and I know God will make a way. I have to trust the process. I have to trust the process. I might be going slower than somebody else, but I have to trust the process, because I know this is not it. This is not it. So for all of you that's in the same situation, I'm just saying, trust the process. Trust the process, and it helps so much when you help somebody else. Even when you're not even in the place where you are. You never know what that person needs to hear. Trust the process. Stay encouraged. You got this. All right, y'all. 1.